For thousands of years, every major culture on Earth shared one terrifying belief: the dead don't always stay buried. Long before modern horror movies, ancient humans didn't view ghosts as simple myths or hallucinations. They treated them as scientific reality.
From the clay tablets of Babylon to the pyramids of Giza, to decode the spirit world.
But why did civilizations separated by oceans and centuries come up with almost identical rules for apparitions?
Today, we explore how ancient humans decoded the paranormal and what science says about their findings today.
Journey back in time with me as we uncover the origin of ghosts. Let's dive in.
In ancient Mesopotamia, ghosts weren't spiritual mysteries. They were treated as legal matters handled in courts.
They called the spirit the gideim. If a family failed to provide daily food and water to a tomb, the spirit returned with a legal grievance.
To banish a haunting, a priest wouldn't perform an exorcism. They would literally hold a court trial, with the sun god acting as judge.
If the living person proved they were innocent of neglect, the spirit was legally ordered by the gods to return to the underworld.
This meant illness and bad luck weren't seen as random occurrences. They were symptoms of an unsettled spiritual debt.
To the Mesopotamians, the world of the living and the dead were bound by strict, unavoidable laws. Move west to ancient Egypt, and the concept of the ghost gets even more sophisticated.
Egyptians believed a human wasn't just one soul, but a complex combination of the Ka, the Ba, and the Ach.
The Ba was depicted as a human-headed bird, free to fly between the underworld and the world of the living every single day. But if someone mistreated a tomb or broke a promise, the spirit transformed into a hostile Ach, seeking direct vengeance.
How did Egypt deal with an angry ghost? They wrote stern letters on ceramic bowls and placed them inside the tomb.
One surviving letter literally reads, "What wrong have I done to you that you continue to torment my household?"
In ancient China, ghost stories weren't about superstition. They were rooted in natural philosophy and cosmic balance.
Every human possessed two souls, the Hun, belonging to light and yang, and the Po, belonging to earth and yin. If a person died with unresolved anger, or without a proper burial, the heavy Po soul transformed into a vengeful specter called a gui. To prevent gui from haunting villages, families instituted seasonal rituals, burning paper offerings to satisfy their spiritual needs. This evolved into the famous Hungry Ghost Festival, a month where the gates of the underworld open to let spirits feast.
It was a brilliant cultural system designed to turn fear of the unknown into active honor for ancestors.
Crossing over into classical Greece and Rome, ghosts took on a whole new dramatic purpose.
The Greeks believed unburied soldiers could not cross the river Styx, leaving their spirits trapped on the shore as screaming shadows. Roman literature gives us some of the world's very first haunted house stories, complete with rattling chains and dark specters.
There is a story about a philosopher who rented a cheap Athenian mansion despite rumors it was haunted.
Late at night, an apparition bound in rusty chains drifted past, marking a dark corner of the courtyard where forgotten remnants lay buried.
Once the philosopher gave the remains a proper burial, the haunting vanished forever.
Across all these civilizations, living alongside spirits required precise protective rituals.
Romans held an annual festival called Lemuria every May, dedicated entirely to driving restless phantoms out of their homes.
The head of the house would walk barefoot at midnight, throwing black beans over his shoulder 9 times without looking back.
He would chant, "With these beans I redeem me and mine," believing the ghosts collected the beans and left in peace.
In ancient Mesoamerica, Aztec tribes used obsidian mirrors, believing reflective volcanic glass blocked dark spirits from entering.
Every tool was designed around one idea: setting firm boundaries between the physical world and the afterlife.
But what happens when we look at these ancient ghost encounters through the lens of modern neurology?
Scientists have discovered that exposure to carbon monoxide poisoning creates paranoia, hallucinations, and a feeling of an unseen presence.
Infrasound, sound waves below 20 Hz, which can cause human eyeballs to vibrate slightly, creating visual illusions.
Infrasound can be generated by wind blowing through stone ruins or old architecture, triggering hyperanxiety and shadowy sightings. Add sleep paralysis into the mix, where the brain wakes up while the body stays locked, and you have the perfect recipe for a nightmare.
Many ghostly phenomena recorded in ancient times can now be explained by environmental and neurological triggers. Yet, environmental science doesn't tell the whole story. There is a deeply human reason why ghosts persist across centuries. Psychologists recognize that grief alters how our brains process memory, making us hear voices or see loved ones who have passed.
In ancient times, seeing a deceased relative wasn't always a curse. It was a psychological bridge to cope with devastating loss.
By giving spirits a name, a legal trial, or a ritual offering, ancient cultures provided their living people with closure.
Ghosts became physical manifestations of unresolved guilt, lingering love, and unfulfilled obligations.
In a way, ghosts weren't really about the dead at all, and they were about helping the living survive.
Even in our modern digital age, our obsession with apparitions hasn't disappeared. It just transformed.
We still tell ghost stories around campfires, watch paranormal investigations, and hunt for shadowy glitches in video footage.
The rituals have changed from black beans and clay bowls to electromagnetic field detectors and thermal cameras.
But the underlying core drive remains identical to the Sumerians 4,000 years ago: a desire to know what lies beyond.
Whether ghosts exist in the physical world or purely inside the human mind, their impact on human history is indisputable.
They remind us that our ancestors were deeply reflective, remarkably creative, and always seeking order in a mysterious universe.
So the next time you hear a mysterious bump in the night, or feel a sudden cold chill,
remember that you are experiencing the exact same instinct that built ancient legal systems, rituals, and sacred monuments.
Which ancient civilizational method surprised you the most? Mesopotamian courtroom trials, Chinese ghost festival, or Roman bean throwing?
Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I read and reply to as many history questions as I can. Exploring how ancient minds decoded our world is one of the best ways to understand human nature today. Hit that like button if you learned something new today. Subscribe for more deep history breakdowns. And I'll see you in the next video.